Hello, Yuki Nakamura.
Hello, John Brennan.
All right, dude. This is the first time we've been in person for a while because
Yes.
you've been in Japan.
Yes, and then you've been kind of, I wouldn't say crisis, but
Oh, it was a crisis. My life was fucked up. My
okay,
life is
well,
always fucked up. But I had 2 or 3 crises in 2024.
right.
And, we're here in my parents' basement. So if you hear any yelling and screaming coming from upstairs, it's them.
Right.
We used to do this in my apartment, which actually burnt down. A lot of people know about that. And actually, I want to thank people who contributed to a GoFundMe that was set up to help us.
Right.
I never expected or wanted to do it, but Matt Mangiarides set one up for us. And so many people contributed between friends, family, fans of The Last Drive-In, fans of Trauma. Lloyd Kaufman was the first person to donate, and he put $1,000 in immediately, like without even
Nice.
blinking. He just said, "Wing, here you go. Let me help you." So many people, and I just, I'm gonna try to go through pretty soon because we're sort of getting settled here at my folks for the next couple of months while we rebuild, and I'm gonna try and go through and thank as many people personally as possible because it's been a long journey to get to this sort of comfort.
So it's good that you're starting a new life in the year 2025.
Yes,
It's
so
a good start.
I agree. It's a clean slate. Everything is coming back to be what's the word? It's almost like back to roots because this basement that we're in right now is where I wrote the Last Drive-In theme song. It's where I did a lot of work for Trauma. It's where I edited a bunch of short movies and stuff. So it's weird to be back here involuntarily. I never wanted to come back and live with my parents ever. This is crazy that I'm back here. Trust me. But it's also a blessing that they're able to take me and Liz in.
Well, I'm sure your parents will be happy to have you back. In a way.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's like a traffic jam in the because I'm lucky in a way because I don't have to be up at any certain time right now because I don't have to be at work at a certain time. I just have to get work done during the day at some point. So I've sort of become more nocturnal recently because when I was living on my own in an apartment, I was getting up at 8 o'clock, doing my thing, going to sleep at a reasonable hour, 12, 1.
Right.
Now I'm up until 4 a.m. Why?
Why?
Because all of them are up all during the. My parents are both retired. Liz gets up to go to work at 4 a.m. My brother gets up to go to work at 4:30. So in the morning it's a traffic jam, and then during the day it's a traffic jam. People are doing this. They're cooking. They're cleaning. They're moving. They're da 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 do ba da da. So it's tough for me to get my work done because I sometimes need solitude and silence. Sometimes I need silence to record my music.
Right.
So I start working a lot of the times at like 8 o'clock at night. And I don't stop until 3, 4 in the morning. So, and I do get stuff during the day done. I do my emails, phone calls.
Right.
Sometimes I do some editing during the day. But I've become reverse nocturnal again. And it's good and bad. It's good because I don't have to deal with people at night. And it's bad because haven't seen sunshine in 17 days.
Well, look at this. I'm not saying everybody, or you should, but usually writer, artist, they work all night and go to bed in the morning, right?
Well, I was actually yes, some do. Some are nocturnal workers, but I also was reading an article about the work habits of people throughout the ages of artists. So some artists love to wake up at 4 in the morning, drink a bunch of coffee, and work until noon, and then they're
Right.
done
Then-
for the day.
Right.
That's their workflow, and that was my workflow for a minute. I was enjoying it, but it's different when you live alone because you have a different trajectory. You have your own space. You could set your own parameters. You could set your own routine.
Right.
When you're living with other people, their routine knocks your routine off. So you have to adjust to their routine. So instead of me being another body in the morning traffic jam and afternoon traffic jam, I've removed myself from that situation as much as possible, and I've become a night person, which I love the night. I love the night.
Yeah, I have a writer friend. I know him for 40 years. He goes to bed at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Which I've done in the past.
Right.
I have been in that cycle too, where
Then,
it's like up all night.
Right,
Yeah.
up all night writing, and then he said working all night is good. First of all, it's very quiet.
Yes.
and then concentrate. So I guess it's usually writer likes stay up all night writing because it's quiet, easy to think.
Yes.
So
And it's cool sometimes to be up late. This is something I've realized recently. You're up late and you're watching something late, like a hockey game or something, and it's comforting to know that there's other people up late watching that game with you, even though it's midnight or
right,
it's just cool. It feels interesting. It's like you're tapped in. Unlike when you just stream something, say on YouTube or something, you're the only motherfucker in the world watching that video at that
right.
time. But I like that idea that even at night you turn on a television and you say you watch the news or you watch the Unsolved Mysteries channel, you think like there's at least 20,000 people out there in the world watching this right now. You feel kind of connected.
Sometimes have you ever this experience like you up on weird time at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and then you find great B movie middle of the night.
Yes.
By accident. That's a great, like finding almost like a treasure or something.
100%. There's that's funny you say that because when I saw not recently, it was last year sometime, the Black Scorpion.
Ah.
And that's a great 50s B movie. It
Right.
was on Turner Classic Movies on the live channel, and I just turned it on because I'm like, what's this? I've heard of this.
Right.
And it's one of the guys, I forgot his name, he worked on King Kong as with the stop motion. But he did this movie 20 years later, or maybe even 30 years later, and it's fucking awesome. There's some stuff in the Black Scorpion. There's long, wide angles of the Scorpion throwing tanks around and shit like that. It's so good.
Right? Yeah.
So that you're right. There is this sort of B movie adventure that you could find really late, and or things that you wouldn't even expect. Like I remember I used to stay up and watch those old infomercials back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Like a 30 minutes long commercial, right?
I'm watching Chuck Norris pump iron for a fucking half hour. I don't even know why I'm doing it, but it's so entertaining.
I used to like, what's his name? Something Ronco? Or he invented kitchenware, or weird pasta machine. Or
yes. Oh, shit. I remember that pasta machine. I almost ordered that pasta machine. I'm sitting there with my friend Brian. I was like, I think I'm going to order this right now. He's like, don't do it, man. You're going to regret it. Maybe I could have become a pasta maker. Who knows? What about Billy Blanks? He was the, remember him? He had the Thai bow system.
I don't remember the name, but the bow tie, Thai bow?
Thai bow was a workout routine that combined Taekwondo and
those
Bowflex. Yeah.
The exercise machine.
Yeah. There was Stop the Insanity. Remember that woman? I forgot her name. She was it's just coming back to me, but she would be all about weight loss, and she would be like, stop the insanity, and telling about eating and don't eat so much and work out and stop being obese. There was a lot of workout ones.
Yeah, those are fun.
But I like the ones that, you're right, the ones about the home cooking, or like the very sharp knives,
right?
Or the crazy fucking chopping blender that purees everything.
That was they don't do that anymore, huh?
They might. I haven't seen them. They used to play those, say, on Comedy Central. Comedy Central would end at 2 a.m.
But I seen them anymore though. I don't see them anymore.
They may be, because I think there's a couple of dedicated channels that just do infomercials or stuff where they sell, and maybe a lot of that stuff now is moved to YouTube.
Oh, I see.
Because you don't need a half hour to sell a thing. You just place it in front of a YouTube video for 10 seconds, and somebody's gonna go, "Oh, I want that salad maker," you know. It's funny that the late night viewing experience is totally different than the daytime viewing experience. I also used to like when I stayed home from school and you get to see the daytime programming, such as, I don't know why, but I would stay home sometimes sick from school and I would watch the Rosie O'Donnell talk show during the day.
Did she talk show?
You don't remember she had a talk show?
I don't remember that.
It was probably in the late 90s, 95, 96, 97. And a couple of times I was homesick and I watched the Rosie O'Donnell show and I said, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Shit, I don't
She
know
was
the
flipping
name.
out one time about Tom Cruise being on, and I remember I had stayed home from high school because I had an ear infection, and I watched an episode where she was like, "Tom Cruise is coming on, Tom Cruise," and then we were in class that week on the day that Tom Cruise was coming in, and we in a free period. In high school, we're allowed to watch something on television, and I suggested the Rosie O'Donnell show with Tom Cruise, and everybody's like, "What are you, a fucking asshole? We have a free period, and you want to watch fucking Rosie O'Donnell and Tom Cruise?"
Wow, I don't
But I
remember
kind of
that.
wanted to. I wanted because I don't know. I kind of knew she was weird. She was
Right.
funny, and he's a psychopath. So the two of them meeting might have been great.
I only remember, I don't know if that's her show, but Tom Cruise jumped on the couch.
That was Oprah.
Oh, that's Oprah. Oh.
He lost his goddamn mind on the Oprah show. He was grabbing Oprah, strangling her, punching her in the tits.
Was he on stone or what? Or
He
drunk?
he said it was love. He said he was acting that way because he was in love with the Dawson's Creek girl. What the hell was her name? Shit.
What's her name?
Joey.
Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes. That's it. He was claiming I'm in love. Oh,
So that was
L-U-V.
before he married her to have a kid. Suri.
He may have just married her, or maybe just fell in love. I don't remember why, but he was fucking losing it. But you know what? Even though he was losing it, it was in a fun, good-mannered nature. You know, he was laughing, and even though he was maniacal, he wasn't sitting there saying, "Oprah, I want to, hurt people," and this. No, he was, "I'm in love. I'm having a great time." I like Tom Cruise. I don't give a fuck if he's nuts. I think he's a great he's the last great movie star, in my opinion.
Oh, I see.
You don't think so?
Well, his last one, how about Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, you know what I'll say about Brad Pitt? I think he's amazing, but he's more of a character actor, in my opinion. He does crazy ass roles. Tom Cruise,
The star. He's a star.
Tom Cruise is a star.
Okay.
Brad Pitt is a star with an asterisk. He also can do these crazy ass. I mean, have you ever seen Snatch?
Yes.
That's Tom Cruise would never do a role like that.
Okay, so you're saying Brad Pitt is a better actor than Tom Cruise?
He is a better. He makes more interesting choices than Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has made interesting choices.
Right.
I mean, look at Magnolia. That was
Right.
great. Look at I mean, even Jerry Maguire is a great role. He's great in those movies. He is. But I can't see him doing the stoner on the couch guy from True Romance or
Well, I like him in Tropic Thunder.
See, now that is the realm I would love to see him go further into. Do more stuff like that. And I don't mean
Right.
just gross out comedy or whatever, which I love Tropic Thunder, and I think he's the best part. I would love to see him do more bizarre roles where he doesn't have to jump off the goddamn Eiffel Tower or whatever.
Right.
He just does something weird.
Right, but doing your own stunt isn't really acting. It's just athletism, right? I mean, it's a stunt.
But it's cool. It's cool that he does it because he is at the top tier Hollywood level. Usually the studios would say, "We're not doing that because this is our star. We can't ensure this.
Too dangerous for...
Too
to
dangerous."
lose the
But
right.
he is saying, "Hell no, before I get too old to do this shit, I'm doing as much as I possibly can." And he's got the means to do it, and he does it. He
Right.
hangs off the sides of planes. He jumps off of fucking cliffs.
You know, one story, I was watching Matt Damon interview about
Matt
Tom Cruise.
Damon. I can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Matt Damon.
Somebody's interviewing and then he goes, "Oh, I was talking Tom Cruise and then I was wondering how he does that stunt." So, Matt says, I kind of cornered him and asked, "How did you do that, hanging in the outside window?" And then Tom Cruise says, "Look, I got the stunt guy." And then I told him what I want to do. And then stunt guy says, "That's too dangerous. You can't do that." And then Matt Damon says, "Then what happened?" Tom Cruise says, "I got another stunt guy."
Exactly. If he wants to do something, he's going
Right.
to do it, and that's why that's why so many people love Jackie Chan. You know, he's doing his own stunts. He's doing it, and then they show the bloopers of him.
Right.
So similarly with Tom Cruise, usually before these Mission Impossible movies, he'll put out a behind-the-scenes featurette explaining the big stunt and how he did it. There's the one, it's on YouTube, about him jumping off the cliff 12,
right.
15,
Yeah.
20 times to get it right. And they had 40 cameras going and this and that and the
But
other
see,
thing.
that's a kind of okay. He keeps making Mission Impossible. I think new one's coming out the next year.
Yeah,
Like,
they had
what
to
the-
rename it because the other one didn't do as well as they wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Mission Impossible 8 now.
Yeah.
8 part 2. But I mean, instead of it's a real movie story or character. Last 10, 15 years, his movie just becoming about the stunt or action doing by himself.
And that's what I'm
It's a-
saying is, yes, those were amazing movies, and I still like the Mission Impossible. I love Top Gun Maverick. I would like to see him do more Tropic Thunder type stuff now that he's going to slow down. Although I did hear that he wants to do these Mission Impossible movies until he's 80. The fuck
Oh,
are you
come
doing,
on!
man?
What the fuck is he talking about? Okay, well, but for me, I grew up with original Mission Impossible on TV, so at least TV Mission Impossible it's more like intellectual.
Mhm.
I mean, there was some action, but
Not
it's
like
more
that.
brain thing.
Cerebral.
Yeah, the trick or cheating or
It's more
Spy
spy,
thing.
lying. Yeah.
But once Tom Cruise took over, start making a Mission Impossible movie, it's all about the action. But then that's wrong. So I don't mind watching an action movie, but I really not comfortable seeing a movie title says Mission Impossible because what he does isn't really Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it should be Mission Slightly Difficult because
Yeah,
if it's
something
impossible, he wouldn't have 8 of these motherfuckers.
Right. So
So this is funny because our topic today is nuclear weapons.
Oh, nuclear! What are we talking about? Oh my God! We were talking about something else, like what? 20
We're already
minutes.
17, 18 minutes in, and we haven't spoken once. But it's funny because we could transition from Mission
Okay.
Impossible, which probably one of them centered on some sort of a
Right.
nuclear weapon, and we could discuss nuclear weapons in movies and nuclear weapons in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yes, and then proud to be saying Japan is the only country who had 2 nuclear explosions. One in Hiroshima, one in Nagasaki.
okay. Yes, so I didn't realize that. This is why you wanted to talk about this, right? 'Cause
Yes.
this is your suggestion. I didn't suggest nuclear weapons to the Japanese guy. The Japanese guy suggested nuclear
But the
weapons
new
to me.
generation, probably new generation, than Japanese nuclear, they don't even know we had a 2 bomb probably. I mean,
It's interesting because in the 80s, I feel like there was a lot of knowledge, or at least a lot of residual effect in the Japanese community about the bombs, because you had art like Akira and things like that took those themes and twisted it into the neo
Right.
future, the new wave. But maybe now, I maybe not. Maybe people aren't still as concerned about that, right?
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in post-war Japan? Because you grew up, what, 20 years after the war, or 30?
Some 20 years after World War II.
So when you were a kid, was the residual effects still happening?
Yeah, because that time still people survived alive. From Hiroshima, Nagasaki,
Wow.
and then
Well, let me ask you a question before we go on about this. And this is just because I'm an ignorant fool who doesn't do any research for this podcast or my entire life. Is there a difference between nuclear and atomic weapons?
I think it's like pasta and spaghetti, like a whole atomic bomb is a part of nuclear bomb.
Uh-huh.
So nuclear bomb is a pasta, and an atomic bomb is a spaghetti. So there's a atomic bomb or plutonium, uranium, different kinds of nuclear bomb.
Okay. I'm going to look it up, and I hope that you're right because I don't want to prove you wrong. But so, okay, as a kid, you saw the residual effects on Japan from the bombs, and you knew survivors or
Right.
knew of survivors and things like that. So what was it like? Were people still talking about it, or was it just in the subconscious?
It's a subconscious now because it's now it's a 1945, so it's almost like 80 years ago, and then the movie Oppenheimer came last year, 2 years ago, and then personally I don't think they made a nuclear bomb to drop in Japan. That was just a part of the process since war was going on. Kind of U.S.-Russia thing. Hey, we should build a nuclear bomb before Russia does. That kind of thing. So I really think U.S. made the bomb to drop to Japan. No, I think it's still part of the process because two different type. The fat man and then little boy. And then one is plutonium, and then one is uranium. It's a different type. So I think I could be wrong, but my take is that was a part of a still experimental process. They needed to know how it works, but they couldn't do that in here. So, hey, we are middle of the war. Let's test it in Japan.
Jesus.
That's why 2 cities, 2 bomb, and 2 different kind of bomb.
Kinds. Interesting.
And then still, they just pick the city randomly. They think they didn't want to bomb in Tokyo because Tokyo is the capital. They didn't want to bomb in Kyoto and Nara because that's Japan's ancient, old city, right? They kind of protected. Oh, we have to respect their culture. We can't destroy every shrine and then temple in Japan. So they picked Hiroshima and then Nagasaki, which were just a city that time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't randomly drop it. It was test. They picked the correct city. So I still think it's still politics. Not. I mean, of course, they wanted to end the war.
Yeah, who knows what the original origin
Right.
of why they started. I mean, I guess we do know they wanted to have the upper hand.
Right.
But maybe you're right. They just used this moment in time
Yeah.
to test them. And what a test.
And
That's
then
fucked up shit.
Yeah, and then some kind of the some kind of secret deal behind the whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened. Japan is like U.S. is the 51st states now, right? If you
Well, some would say Puerto Rico first and then Japan.
Okay,
so
well.
52nd state. Although maybe you're right. Maybe it's 51, 52, or maybe you guys keep flipping Puerto Rico, Japan, Puerto Rico, Japan.
Someone says, if U.S. sneeze and Japan catch cold. I mean, think about it. Like, Japan and U.S. is so close now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Japan, you've mentioned on this podcast many times the Japanese economic rise after the war and
Right.
through the 80s. In the 80s, Japan was a powerhouse throughout the whole world,
Right.
right? They were taking over the world with financial. They were buying up everything. Sony, right?
Yeah. Matsushita,
Yeah.
Toyota, Nissan. Like,
Oh, yeah. So do you think Japan is still on par with their economic power that they had throughout the 80s, or are they sort of leveling out?
No, that was the peak was 70s, 80s, and then the Japanese bubble just busted in early 90s, about
Okay.
30 years ago.
Because I have so many Japanese products that I didn't even know. I mean, my Yamaha
Right.
keyboard, all kinds of Nintendos. I mean, my whole childhood was brought up by a Japanese man, Legend of Zelda invented by a Japanese
Right.
man. Mario, I think, was invented by a
But
Japanese man, right? Yeah. So all this stuff, my whole childhood was brought up by,
Japanese.
I was raised by Japanese motherfuckers, and now I know you're my Japanese sidekick. I mean, this is crazy shit. Japan has had a huge effect on my life. And nuclear weapons, right? Oh, wait, hold on. I did bring up here, it says an atomic bomb is a weapon that releases a massive amount of energy through the rapid nuclear fission of heavy atomic nuclei, such as uranium or plutonium. A nuclear bomb, on the other hand, is a generic term that includes both atomic and hydrogen bombs, referring to a weapon that uses nuclear reactions to produce a powerful explosion.
So
you were right. It's
nuclear is a general term, right?
Yes.
And then atomic bomb and then plutonium.
hydrogen bomb is the subject. So you're
part
right.
of
It's the pasta
Right,
is
pasta.
the nuclear, and then spaghetti, rigatoni.
Right,
It
right.
goes
Those are
down.
those
Yeah.
name of the bomb. Yeah.
Interesting. I brought up a list of some of my favorite movies that have to do with nuclear.
Well, best one
Themes.
is Doctor Strangelove, I think.
You know what though? I just watched Failsafe yesterday. Me and Liz.
Oh, Failsafe is good. Failsafe is good too.
Failsafe. I'm sorry, but that shit is as good.
Sidney Lumet.
Sidney Lumet. You got Henry Fonda
Right.
as the president. You got the first on-screen appearance. One of the first earliest on-screen appearances of Dom DeLuise.
Ah,
He plays a pivotal role, small but pivotal, and he comes out and he tells the Russians some information that they need to know in order to help them stop what's happening. You got and okay, I'm going to tell everybody because we're going to talk about spoilers real quick because this movie's ending. Holy fucking shit, man. Okay, so spoilers if you want to skip ahead about 3 minutes. So, the ending of Failsafe is one of the scariest endings I've ever seen in a movie because I have never seen this movie. I've always wanted to. So Liz and I sat down and watched it yesterday. And the whole time I'm sitting there going, they're not going to do it. They're not going to pull a Strangelove. They're going to pull out and it's going to win the day and everybody's going to be safe. They're never going to... They fucking blow up Moscow and they blow up New York.
I can't remember. I have to see it again.
Oh my God. They succeed because the whole movie is basically about these bombers that get through. There's a malfunction because Russia used this jamming system in the radios. America didn't know about. So the whole time they're blaming themselves. America's like, we fucked up. Our machines fucked up. We got to talk to Moscow and Russia directly and warn them and tell them we tried to shoot down our own bombers. Now you guys need to, and we're going to cooperate with you. But through talking to the Russians, they figure out that the Russians were the ones who actually fucked it up because they used a new blocking system. So they fucked themselves and then the whole thing happens and they finally shoot down, there's like 6 or 8 bombers or whatever, and then one gets through, and the final plea to the pilot is the wife gets on the line. They finally get through to the plane, and the wife is like, please turn around, and he's been instructed, people can pretend to be the president, people can pretend to be your wife, don't listen to anybody, so once the mission gets past a certain point, you drop that bomb no matter what, and he fucking says, we're going in, we're going to fly really low at 5,000 feet, drop the bomb, and get exploded with it. He does it. They do it. They fucking blow up goddamn Moscow. And then after that, Russia basically says, we know this is our fault, but now we have to blow up
New York.
You guys. And they can't stop, like the Americans can't stop it. And the whole end of that movie is these shots of New York, clips. Somebody's arguing with a taxi. Somebody's walking down to the subway, this, that, these little clips. And then the bomb comes, and there's these still frames that go, psh, 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 and then all of a sudden it just ends. It's so fucking powerful. I love this movie. Anyway, so
I have to see it again.
So I was reading about it, and I always thought that Failsafe inspired Strangelove. It's actually the other way around. So there was a novel called Red Alert. Something like that, Red Alert, that they Strangelove, Kubrick and his writers based their story around. Failsafe was an original story that so closely resembled.
Which are made.
So they were simultaneously being made. Failsafe was independently financed. Strangelove was some company. I forgot which one. Columbia, yeah. So they found out about this movie. Kubrick sued. Won, said, you could put out this movie, but my movie must come out first. So in 1964, in January, Doctor Strangelove came out. And then in October, 1964, Failsafe came out. Now, Doctor Strangelove was a big success, a big, great comedy. Everybody loved it. Failsafe came out, and people didn't really get it or like it because they were laughing. They thought it should be funny. They thought Strangelove did this.
Too serious, right?
Too serious. But now with the passage of time, this movie is a gripping account, and the way that Sidney Lumet directs it, these extreme close-ups on fucking Henry Fonda's face, or Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau was a cold-blooded motherfucker in this movie. He's not funny at all. He's smacking a woman. He's he's advising everybody we need to strike first and put double the nuclear weapon. Like, he's a cold-blooded motherfucker.
Maybe that the too serious, so nobody could take it.
That's right.
But that the Kubrick was smart enough, like, hey, too serious. Let's put some comical elements in it.
Yes. So and it was. I mean, of course, Doctor Strangelove is a fucking masterpiece. Let's not get it twisted. But Failsafe is, in my opinion, just as good, only different. It's amazing. It's a great double feature.
I have to see it again. I saw it but a long time ago, so
you'll love it. It's
I don't
gripping.
remember. Yeah.
Lumet does all these, like I said, beautiful close-ups. These great big boards. They animated all these war room scenarios. All this stuff. It's just really fucking awesome. Wait, let's see. There's another. Let's see. We have Failsafe, Doctor Strangelove. Oh, have you ever seen the documentary The Atomic Cafe?
Sounds familiar. But...
They took all of these propaganda films from the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s about the bomb, and then reconfigured them into a modern thing in the 80s, and made it like a whole other thing, a documentary about the atomic scare. It's great. It's great. Watch
Never
it, The
seen
Atomic
it.
Cafe. Yeah,
that was actual Atomic Cafe in Los Angeles.
Right. There was, right?
Yeah.
That's in the beginning of...
downtown, I think.
They also have one in the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, yeah.
They go to they have the Atomic Cafe that they pull away from.
Right.
Yeah. And then also that scene. I don't care. I like that scene. You don't like that scene?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah. Yeah. The rest of the movie, second half of that movie sucks. I like the nuclear shit when he goes and he sees the dummies.
Yeah.
He's begging the Russians, wait, don't leave me. And then he goes in the fridge and who cares? It's a fucking India. And then that iconic shot of him standing up and looking at the mushroom cloud.
Right.
It's fucking great. It's great.
Have you seen this is about after nuclear on the beach.
No, I haven't seen that. What's that?
It's already, the catastrophe happened, and then, there's a submarine but they can't land because it's
oh shit. Who when was this from? What year? Do you remember?
I think 60s, and then
wow.
Stanley Kramer on the beach.
You're kidding me, Stanley Kramer?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
and then there was a novel called On the Beach.
Wow, I want to watch that movie. That sounds great. So a submarine that can't land because of a nuclear.
Right, it's all radiation then. So they're looking at I think like New York or San Francisco, and then nobody in the city.
Holy shit, that sounds fucking great. I'm adding that to the list.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Of course, the Mad Max series.
Right.
The Road Warrior starts with kind of a newsreel kind of footage, not newsreel, but black and white footage of all that shit.
And then it's not really directly nuclear, but Crimson Tide.
That's a great one. That's on my list too, where this tense thing leading up to whether or not they're gonna shoot the bomb off.
Yeah, like between Gene Hackman and then Denzel Washington, because they need the two keys to launch it, but one is yes, one is no.
Yep.
So there's a big conflict inside the submarine.
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
Supposedly ghost written by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, he wrote it?
He wrote a lot of the dialogue in that movie and didn't get credited because I guess when you're in the WGA, you need to write a certain amount of the script in order to get credited.
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott, yeah. Yeah, that's a great what's the word for a pot boiler for a thriller, like something that's really tension filled. Not a lot happens in that movie.
Right.
just a lot of arguing, a lot of double crossing,
yes.
a lot of intrigue, but it's really tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that fucking movie. War Games. Remember War Games?
War Games, yeah.
With the great Dabney Coleman. I didn't say Matthew Broderick, even though I love him.
Right.
But when I rewatched that movie, I
And
realized
then,
Dabney Coleman.
Ali Sheedy?
Ali Sheedy, yeah. That's a cool movie that when I was a kid, I always would avoid watching that movie for some reason. I don't know why.
That was the beginning of new technology, right? Computer business.
Hacking and all that
Right.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's now watching it as an adult, I think it's a really interesting, fun thriller.
The clever, and then especially nuclear war is actually a game.
The computer views it as a game.
Yeah. So I thought that was a clever way to put the story together. Yeah.
Let's see what else. Threads. You ever see Threads?
No, I never seen
That's
it.
another one that's really harrowing. It's a documentary style TV movie it's fictional, but it tells about the fallout of a nuclear explosion in London or England.
Never see it.
Really
But the TV
fucking
movie,
scary.
the good one is the day after.
I haven't seen that one. What's
was
the day after?
It's the nuclear bomb thing. It's a TV
And it was a
movie.
TV movie?
It's about I think 3 hours. Or so.
Holy shit. Yeah, these are interesting things because really, say the nuclear bomb goes off, right, somewhere, New York.
Right.
Generally speaking, the whole world's not going to end. It's just going to be radiation going
Right,
out
it's
slowly,
almost-
people slowly getting poisoned, this and that and the other thing. And it's that makes it even more fucked up is that it doesn't just end in a flash. People suffer.
Right.
People fucking get sick. Some people are just dying for weeks and weeks and melting and throwing up and all that shit.
Right.
That's so fucked up.
You don't really see the nuclear explosion, but that was a good movie. Testament.
I haven't heard of this one either.
The Mako was in it.
Oh, you're kidding. Mako, your mentor and the great
Yeah.
actor who was in Conan the Barbarian and Conan the
Testament,
Destroyer.
and then Jane Alexander.
Jane Alexander, okay. And when was this from? The 80s, 70s?
I think late 80s or early 90s. You don't see it's really just all talking. Like senior citizen people just talking. But it's about the nuclear bomb. It's Testament.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There's so many nuclear. Now, coming to think about it, one of the Planet of the Apes movies has the bomb.
That's right. The second one, right? It's,
Yes, the second one, they see the weapon, and holy shit. And the first Planet of the Apes movie ends with him screaming, "You blew it up!
You
maniac!"
By the way, Rod Serling wrote that.
There we go. So we're going to talk about Rod Serling next. And we're going to put out. Okay, so we're recording this. We don't know what weeks we put what
Right.
weeks
we
out.
don't know the order, right?
We don't know the order, but for sure the week of New Year's, we're going to put out the Twilight Zone because that New Year's marathon is always such
Right.
a fucking pleasure every year. I always love to turn it on, and even when I didn't find it on TV, I would always go
And
to
they have
streaming.
a Thanksgiving marathon too, right?
Oh, they do for the Twilight
yeah,
Zone?
I used to watch the 24 hours.
Oh, shit. I always thought it was a New Year's thing.
I think they do a couple of times a year or holiday thing.
Oh, sick. Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, Rod Serling will get into all that stuff. He did so many fucking great things that not just the Twilight Zone.
Right.
But so nuclear weapons, Yuki. Any other thoughts on nuclear weapons or anything? Because we started this whole first half of this episode talking about.
It's not about the nuclear, but the Peacemaker, George Clooney.
Oh
that was
yeah, I remember seeing that movie. George Clooney and Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Terrorist, but the beginning there's a nuclear bomb thing, happens. Then this terrorist got the one nuclear bomb and try to do it in New York, and then George Clooney is this military guy chasing a bad guy, and then it's yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I forgot about that movie. I remember liking it, but not I don't remember anything about it. So maybe it's time for a rewatch.
Yeah.
But all right, that was a good episode on half nuclear weapons, half just bullshit, getting
Right.
back into the groove. Any final thoughts, Yuki, on anything?
Well, I don't get it. You should never use it. Then why we make it?
Because people are fucking stupid. It's that simple. People. Well, no. People. Okay, it's not. It's actually very smart that we did it because it took a lot of intelligence to figure out how to do it. So it was an intelligent thing to do, but it was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it's a stupid thing to do. Then we don't want to see third times, and twice is bad enough.
Yeah, because a lot of the literature on aliens and stuff, it's been in movies too, where the reason they don't deal with us is because we blow each other up and shit like that.
Right.
And look at it from an outside perspective, it is pretty stupid. We're fucking just killing each other. Why? Or blowing each other up. Why? Because there's some imaginary boundary that we figured out in our heads that said, you're bad, we're good, this, that, and the other thing. Although people attack each other, so maybe that's why it all escalated, is somebody attacked in the caveman age, then this motherfucker attacked, and that one, and it just blew up into nations and the world.
Yeah, and then I say it doesn't have to be, nuclear bomb. I mean, any big bomb would do the job, right?
Yeah, but they figured it out, and now, but supposedly, nuclear fission and nuclear energy is a good thing, and could actually replace, at least I've read, could replace all of our energy needs in a very specific way that we wouldn't really need for energy.
Good to use is good, but
Yeah.
if you use wrong,
Yeah.
then...
Well, what about the nuclear reactor that melted down in Fukushima?
Oh, yeah.
Shit. What happened there? That just the thing.
Well, radiation just goes everywhere. Well, not just the Fukushima, the Chernobyl.
Oh yeah, Chernobyl they had. That's some scary shit. Because
And
you're
then-
just sitting there
yeah,
one day and all of a sudden this nuclear reactor
And then,
melts.
and then remember a movie called The China Syndrome?
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that movie came out before even actual incident, the 3 Mile Island nuclear incident thing. So
Yeah.
that's always the thing. Gee, movie is great because sometimes
They figure it out
they
before it
react
happens.
before actually happening. That's power of the filmmaking, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nuclear things, I guess some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, but if it's used right, it's good, and if it's used wrong, it's bad. It's that simple, and a lot of people are fucking stupid or evil,
Right.
so they want to use it for bad things instead of using it for
So
the
it's
greater
just
good.
like the same things then. Gun don't kill people. People kill people, right?
That's right. A gun laying on the floor with the safety on is not
Yeah.
going to kill nobody, but some fucking dumb asshole picks it up and shoots you.
So
That's their fault.
We have to use the nuclear power for good reason, not to use as a weapon.
Or be like Superman in Superman 4 where he takes all the nuclear weapons and throws them into the fucking sun.
Yeah.
Which I saw somewhere somebody said if that happened, it would not have gone the way that it went in the movie. It would have been very bad.
Uh,
All right, everybody, that was Nuclear Weapons.
nuclear weapon, yeah.
With Yuki and John.
John and Yuki.
All right, we're going to do maybe 5 or 6 episodes today, Yuki, so
Yes.
strap in.
Okay.
We're definitely the Twilight Zone
Twilight
for
Zone.
the week of New Year's, and then we
Yes.
have all sorts of we have audience suggestions. This is going to be great. Good to have you back, Yuki.
Thank you.
See you next
I'm
time.
back. See you next time.
Yuki and John, patriot of birth.